Hi, today is Saturday, December 21st, 2024. I've been teaching data science courses at the university for 8.5 years. Surprisingly, many students still struggle with correctly importing data even by the end of the semester. This makes me believe that this topic is well worth discussing. So today, we will talk about importing data. This is an outline of today's video. So we will talk about how to load data from a variety of sources, including online resources and local resources. And we will also talk about how to import a dataset from a package. So first, importing a CSV file. We can use Pandas libraries read_CSV to load a local or online hosted CSV file. So CSV means comma-separated file. So let's first take a look at how to load the file from an online resource. So first we need to import the package pandas and give it an alias PD. So PD is the commonly used abbreviation for pandas. And then let's create the URL where the file is saved. So this is the URL. I call it URL1. Then we can call the function read_CSV from the pandas package and just put the URL in it. Call it data frame 1. And then the loading process is done. We can take a look at the first few rows using the head method for data frames. Pay attention, this head method is associated with pandas data frames only. So only if the dataset is a pandas data frame, we can call this method. So see, these are the first two rows of the dataset. 3 variables, integer, datetime, and category. This function read_CSV has over 30 parameters, but most of them have default values, so we don't have to specify each parameter when we call this function. For example, in our code, we only used one parameter, which is the URL. So this function assumes that comma is the separator, but we can also specify other separators using the SEP parameter. Sometimes CSV files use other separators, such as semicolon. In that case, you can use the SEP parameter to specify the separator. And also, this function assumes that the first line has the column names or column headers. And if that is not true, you can use the header parameter to adjust it. So if there is no header, you can just set header equals none. But by default, the first line contains the column names. Then I see how to import a local CSV file. So suppose I have a data set saved in my local folder. So you see it's in my Dropbox and data flow channel, etc. in the data folder. And the file is Apple quality. It's a CSV file. Then how to load it? We can copy this path and paste it in a pair of quotes, and make sure that you add the file name and the extension of the file. And also you need to change the direction of the slash. So when we copy it, it is backward. We need to change them to forward. And we use the same function, read_CSV from the pandas package. Other things are the same. Just instead of using an URL here, we use the directory of our local folder and the file name. Alternatively, we can upload the dataset to our local Jupyter folder. And then in that case, we can omit this path, just directly type the name of the dataset. So let me show you. Okay, so I uploaded the dataset to the local folder where I save my Jupyter notebook. So see, the Jupyter notebook I'm using now is this importing data, right? So how to upload a file? Let me first delete it, and then I'll upload it. So click upload, and then locate the file, and then click open, and then click upload. And then you see the file is uploaded to the local folder, which contains my Jupyter Notebook importing data. In this case, we can omit the entire directory and only specify the dataset name. Then let's move on to Excel files. So Excels are similar to CSV files, except that Excel files have multiple sheets, probably. Consequently, when we load an Excel file, we need to specify the sheet name, specifying which sheet we are going to import. So the function is called read_Excel. It's still in the pandas package. Suppose this is an online data set. We can specify the URL and then the sheet name. Notice that it is still 0 indexed. So the first sheet has index 0. Header equals 0 means the first line contains the headers of those columns. Okay, so we can load the data this way. There are some notes here. Okay, so sheet name can accept both strings containing the name of the sheet and integers pointing to the sheet positions, 0-based. And you can also load multiple sheets at once. You just need to use a list to wrap all of the sheet names. So for example, this is legitimate. I specify 012, which means we will load the first 3 sheets, and a sheet named monthly sales. So it will work. Next, loading a sample data set. Many packages come with some commonly used data sets that we can quickly load. So these data sets are often called toy data sets because they are very clean and easy to handle. So let's see. So first, the scikit-learn package has some very good data sets. Scikit-learn is for machine learning, and there are 3 very popular data sets. Load Boston. So this one contains observations on Boston housing prices. So it is good for exploring regression algorithms. The response variable is a numeric variable. And Load Iris contains observations on the measurements of iris flowers. It is good for classification algorithms. And Load Digits is good for teaching image classification. So let's take a look at Load Iris. So first, the package scikit-learn is called sklearn. And import the data set. And then we load the data using this syntax. So datasets dot load iris. And this iris is a comprehensive object which has a lot of components. And among those components, there is a data component which contains the x and y variables. The features variables are the x variables or explainer variables. So in the iris data set, the features are the width and length of sepals and petals, so 4-dimensional, 4 columns. And the target variable or the response variable is the species of the flower. Okay, so we can load it. So you see in the scikit-learn package, all of the data sets are saved in this way. The features and the target variables are stored separately. So when you load them, you need to load them separately. Let's check the shape of the features data set. Okay. 150 rows and 4 columns. Okay, so 4 features, 150 observations. Similarly, we can check the shape of the target vector. Okay, so it's 1-dimensional. You see, so there is only 1 index, 150 observations, okay, and 1 column. We can create a scatter plot for the first 2 features variables, sepal length and sepal width, okay, using matplotlib's pyplot submodule to create it. Okay, we'll talk about visualization later. And then let's take a look at another package called Seaborn. Okay, Seaborn is a package for creating graphical displays. It contains a lot of high-level functions that we can use to create very beautiful plots. So it comes with some data sets. For example, tips. So the syntax is, first we import the package, Seaborn, and give it an alias SNS, and then call the load dataset function and specify the dataset you want to load. Okay? We call it tips. And then we can use the head function to show the first 5 rows of the dataset. Now pay attention, Seaborn datasets are pandas data frames. So we can use the head method to show the first few rows. But scikit-learn's datasets are not data frames. Consequently, we cannot use the head method to show the first few rows of them. Okay. We need to use some other functions. Seaborn also has the iris dataset. Okay. So you see we can load the iris dataset, call it iris, and because the dataset in Seaborn are data frames, pandas data frames, we can use a head function to show the first few rows. Lastly, the stats modules package also come with some data sets. For example, one of them is called state crime. We can use this syntax to load the data. First, from stats models, import the dataset submodule, and then specify that we want to load states crime, this dataset, and use load pandas method, which means we want to use the pandas data frame format of the data, and then .data. Okay. Because it's a pandas data frame, we can use the head method to show the first 5 rows. Okay. So you see, this dataset contains state crime data, okay, violence, murder, high school graduate, okay, poverty, and each row is corresponding to a state. Alright, that's all for today's video. Next time, I will show you how to explore Kaggle data. So Kaggle is a very good website for data science and machine learning competitions, and it has a lot of free data sets available. But for beginners, it's kind of tricky to find appropriate data sets to play with because there are just too many data sets. So in the next video, I will show you how to filter out good quality data sets that are appropriate for beginners in data science. Alright, if you think this video is helpful, please like it and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.